Marcia's been holding on from Texas on line 3. Marcia, thanks for holding on. We appreciate that. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm just thinking about, I don't think that Biden is going to make it until the next election, but if he does, I'm wondering if one of the tactics that the Dems will use is when you have a war, just like in World War II, we had FDR, and there were times when he probably, if there was an election without a war, something might have been different. But because there was a war, he went on to become president for 4 terms. With Biden, if they continue to start this war, and he can lead from either his basement or some other hole in the office in the White House, then by default, the American public will say, well, he's in the office. We're starting this war. We don't want to transition to someone else right now, because the media will be so intense that Biden is doing this great job and we need this man to continue to keep this holy war going. And I'm wondering if that's one of the tactics, is the war machine is so huge in the White House that you can just sense that this is where they're headed.
We have to make sure our opposition to that is so loud and clear, both on the right and the left, that we do not want U.S. troops. I even think a lot of people on the left do understand this. I'm not talking about the radicals, but on the left understand that we should not have U.S. troops directly at war with Russian troops. We have thousands of nuclear weapons pointed at each other. That is not a good position to be in. We need to be able to negotiate. That does not mean we can't fight some of these proxy battles. I might not be as supportive of some of those as even some other Republicans are. And I think there's a lot to debate on that, is how far we should go. But I do want to remind you that President Biden thinks this one's done. Now, I am always worried that they want to escalate. Martha, you're absolutely right. And Logan, it is very true. President Clinton was a master at this. And I would say, remember, President Bush had no intention. He was a domestic policy focused president. Then we got hit with 9/11 and his whole presidency changed to a war presidency. But that was not how he was coming in as some... like, I want to go to war and start.
Conservative.
No, it's all about education reform and all of those kind of programs and things like that. And then, boom, we all remember what happened that day in that schoolroom. Like I talked about education reform. That's where he was focused on. And then, all of that. But President Clinton would utilize conflicts to his advantage politically all the time. President Biden, interestingly enough, though, admitted this one. He said, it's over. But we know it's not over because he's sending more troops. And I think if he could...
I don't think the people there feel like it's over.
I think if he could escalate it a little bit, he probably does think that will make people less likely to change horses midstream or mid-war.
Well, I think you did have that a little bit with the Bush administration when you had that coming in. Second term, that's what I mean. Coming into the second term, I think there was a little bit of, even though maybe the momentum was with John Kerry, I think there were a lot of people who were like, this is not the time for a change.
Right.
And
no, I think that's very strong.
Yeah.
It's a very strong, because when you really do go to war, it's like, even when you don't support it, quickly you get very patriotic, because you say, you know what, I stand with our troops. I might not agree with our commander-in-chief sending them there, but God bless them, and we hope that they come back safely, and we're going to stand with them, even if we don't. I don't want another Vietnam ever where troops come back and they feel like that we're not grateful for their service. They don't get to make those decisions. They follow orders. So again, but I think it's a very telling call, something we need to watch over this process. It's why they can't stand Donald Trump saying, I could get this done in a day.